You are listening to episode 47 of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Welcome to the Peaceful Mind Podcast, a place for creating the peace of mind you need to be the best mom you are created by God to be. If you want to bring more balance, more joy, and more peace to your motherhood, this is the place for you. I'm your host, certified life coach and Catholic mom, Danielle Tino. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We made it. We made it to the end of the series. I am so excited. Creating your life's results. It's all going to come together from what we've talked about on the series of the model. And I'm just going to reiterate one more time, especially for those who are just visiting this episode and maybe this is your first time or you just landed on the podcast and you started here. If you have, I just want you to know that this is the fifth and last part in a 5-episode series about the main self-coaching tool I use on myself and use to help my clients help them handle challenges, to achieve their goals, and to first and foremost bring total awareness of what you are creating for your life right now and how to use the model to create anything else that you don't have right now, but you do want to have in your life. So that's why I titled this episode, Creating Your Life's Results, because do you know, let's just go back to the basics, that you are the one who is responsible for creating any result that you have right now? Like if you really just look around and see everything that you have in your life and all that you have achieved or accumulated up until this moment, and you are also responsible for what you create in the future. And all of these results will be the effect of our actions. So last week, we talked all about the things that we do and we don't do, which make up the actions that we're taking in our life. So you get your results from your actions, and your actions create your life's results. But remember, if we work backwards, or if we review back to the beginning of the models, we have a circumstance that happens, that's the C line, and then we have a thought about the circumstance, that's the T line, which creates a feeling in our body, which is the F line, and from those feelings, they drive you into action, the A line. And as we're talking about right now, that all of your actions then create your results, the R line. So CTFAR. Circumstances, thoughts, feeling, actions, results. This, my friends, we've come to is the total 5 components that make up the model. Let's just talk about examples of results. And as I'm talking through some examples, it will then have you thinking of what results you have created in your life right now. And then we'll tap into our minds to see what we want to create in the future. And what we don't have right now, we totally can have when we identify what it is that we're missing from one of these 5 parts of the model. I'm just going to start with the results of my life, right? Or at least some of them. So right now, I'm watching myself. I'm literally have created the result of being in my office in this house, which is in the particular city that we decided to buy the house in. And, obviously there's all the things in the house, and there's how I look, right? The length of my hair or what clothes I have on. And then there's things like I have a high school diploma, I have a college degree, I have 2 certifications for life coaching. I created being married. I have a husband. I have 3 children. Those are all like results of my life. And then there's what I want to create. Like I am putting my mind towards creating a European vacation. I want to create a finished podcast episode of this podcast today. I want to create there's a goal I have to create as a result for my life and in my business, right? How many certain amount of clients or a certain amount of revenue. I also want to create like a strong, healthy body for myself. So I've got an action plan that includes eating healthy and exercising. So that was just a little taste of the results I have created already in my life from working through models that started with a thought I had that caused me to feel a certain way, that drove actions that created those results. And then I've got what I want in the future. So I put those in the R line of the model as a result, and then I just have to ask myself, what do I need to do in order to create that? What do I need to feel in order to do those things? And what do I need to think in order to create those feelings? So the model, the self-coaching model, works both ways. And sometimes whatever life is throwing you, so if there's just a circumstance that arises, then you know that you can put that in the C line of the model and think anything you want about it. And then you move from there. Or let's just say you notice yourself that you're feeling a little bit sad that day. Okay, now you understand the self-coaching model and you're like, okay, that goes in the feeling line. And so from there, you could either say, does that feeling, drive me to do the actions that I want to do? And then from there, you can get curious and assess. Or you could ask yourself, so what am I thinking that's making me feel sad? Not that whatever you're feeling is a problem, but that awareness, when you have these 5 components and know that anything in your life either fits into one of these categories. It's either going to be a circumstance, a thought, a feeling, an action, or a result. You can then just through your brain gain some real awareness on which one it is. And from here is the true beauty of what it is that I'm trying to help you all to see, is that your power is available to you. It's not outside of you. It's internally when you go to first what you want to think about everything. So I hope you look at the results of your life. Let's talk about a couple more examples that aren't particular mine, but just more general that maybe you can relate to. So an example of a result that one would create, which is the result of being overweight. And that result comes from eating when one is not hungry. If you've been avoiding having interactions with your boss, you're going to create the result of having a dysfunctional working relationship. So in both cases of overeating and having a dysfunctional working relationship, they were caused by taking certain actions. And by choosing different actions, it would lead you to having different results. So you may think that results are circumstances that have been just handed to us and that they're beyond our control. But the truth is, you and I are both entirely responsible for our own results because they come from our actions and are a result of our feelings, which come from our thoughts. And this is such great news because what that means is that it's all in our control, right? Because our thoughts are in our control. So if you can examine your mind, you can gain the skill of choosing thoughts that empower you to create the results in your life that you truly want. Any dream that you have can be put in the result line of the model, the R line. Whatever result you want, whether or not you currently believe it can be accomplished, it still can go in the result line. There are no exceptions. And the only reason you don't currently have the result that you want in your life is because you just don't yet believe the thought that's required to create that result. That's it. That's all there is to it. The only reason why you don't have what you want yet is because you just haven't found that thought that will lead to it. And so this is how the model helps us bring such awareness to our mind, and why knowing your thoughts is so important, because they create your feelings, which drive your actions, which create those results. So it's just a little bit of a puzzle, right? Of figuring it out. And we want to be able to just have some self-compassion to ourselves, with ourselves, that we didn't really know this before. I know that I love how the model simplifies life for me, because when I find myself in the midst of something and I'm asking the question like, okay, what's going on here? I'm like, oh yeah, it is either a circumstance, a thought, a feeling, an action, and result. So which one am I wanting to look at? If I want to create something different, that I don't like what's going on now, that's where I start, because I know that it's up to me. I know that it's nothing outside of me. I no longer blame that it's because of the weather, or that my kids didn't do a certain thing, or that my boss isn't acting the way I want him to be. And if only my mom would do this, right? It was just always about outside. And that was the reason why I wasn't getting what I wanted to have. And I no longer do that. I go within. I capture my own power. I become empowered when I gain this self-awareness about how I am creating my life's current result. Here's just a quick example that happened to me today. So we are in the midst and almost finished with building a pool in our backyard. And it is a little bit overcast today and kind of chilly, but it's not pouring rain or anything. And I sent a text message to the project manager, and I was like, are the workers coming today? Because I find myself getting a little anxious when I don't see any worker progress going on. But here's the great thing. I am the creator of my own results and how I feel and what I want to think about that all going on. So what I know is I catch myself, right? I caught myself that, yes, I wasn't thinking with awareness when I first sent that text message, but even afterwards, I saw what was going on. I was onto myself. I was feeling anxious because I had some thought very close to they should be here, or the pool's not going to get finished in time, or I want it to hurry up. Somewhere along those lines, those thoughts are what made me feel anxious. And so in that moment, I was creating the result, right, where I was not feeling or acting in a way that I wanted to. I wasn't showing up. Right? I know that what was in my control wasn't the weather, wasn't whether there was going to be some workers there or not, or I can't control if the pool is actually finished on time or not. I can only control what I think about it, how I feel about it, and what I do about it. And in this moment, I totally brought myself to the model and saw that I didn't want to be creating the feeling of anxiousness and showing up where I was text messages and just kind of ruminating in my mind and spinning in thoughts of what I thought should be happening. I wanted to feel peace about it. I want to believe that it'll be done at the perfect time. And I wanted to get on with my day, right? I wanted to record this podcast. I wanted to take a shower, and I wanted to take care of some stuff for my son's upcoming summer school. I just wanted to move on with my life and create results that I wanted to. So I totally was able to create that result. And I did so because I stopped and gained awareness, and I asked myself some questions. I got really curious about what was really going on, and I saw the circumstance for what it was and decided that I could think something different that I could feel more positive, and then I would show up differently and I would create a different results. And that, my friends, is just an example of what I want for you. So if you even go back and re-listen to this series or want to dive deeper by getting on a call with me, I can answer your questions, or just, again, like I said, repeat listening and take your notes, and start by getting a piece of paper out and on the side write CTFAR and see if you can just begin to identify these for yourself in your life. And the more and more you practice and get clear on these 5 steps or components of the model, you will then be able to come back to the root cause of any of your problems, or why you haven't achieved the goal that you want yet, is always back to our thinking. And this part of the way that our brain was created from our beautiful God is the answer to changing what you are not liking about your human experience, and your power to transform what your future looks like. Because it's not the circumstance. It's never the circumstance, but it's the way that you think about it. It's not our feelings, but rather the thought that creates the feelings. And it's not our behavior, but it's our thoughts and feelings that resulted in the action or behavior. Our thoughts directly create the results we experience in our lives. Therefore, the cause of our problem is not the unwanted results, but it's the thoughts that led us to those unwanted results. Your current thinking, my friends, is always what's creating your current life. And so when we want to create something different in our future, our power there is still always what we're thinking. It does take a bit of practice, I'm not going to lie, to kind of be in the place where you see and be, as your life is unfolding. Sometimes we don't catch it before it happens. Sometimes we don't know what we were thinking when we were feeling that way. And sometimes it's after the fact, when we've created a result we didn't want, that we then get to go back and kind of evaluate. It's all progress. Learning this, trying to apply it, kind of thinking about it, and having more awareness about how you're feeling, looking at what you're doing in your life, and then realizing that it's not outside of yourself, that, you're no longer going to be at the effect of what's outside of you, but you know that you're the one who gets to determine the results you create for your own life. Like, all of it's good. There's nuances to figure out, yes, but you're so capable. I know that there was a time in my life when I didn't know about the model. I wasn't able to see life put into this just kind of like simple way of categorizing things. And once I did, I wasn't perfect at it, but I just was open to it. I got curious, and then I had this knowledge of truly what a thought was, and how a feeling is created, and what's really behind everything that I was doing and not doing. And then I was able to look at the results I'd already created, and I saw my power in it. And it was a beautiful thing. And I have just really felt so much better, had more positive beliefs, and I've taken better action that is right for me and my family, and created some amazing things because of this knowledge that I have and responsibility that I have of how my brain works and the power of my thoughts. And that's what I want for you all too. Even if you can start to differentiate thoughts from circumstances, it will be an important first step for you in self-coaching. Remember that circumstances are court of law factual, while thoughts are subjective, and they may change from person to person, and they're not true all of the time. Maybe before listening to this series, you were one who thought that our feelings came from our circumstances, right? We thought that when our husband didn't take out the trash, that's why we were feeling angry. But now you know that feelings are the emotions or the vibrations you experience in your body, and they are directly related to the thoughts you're thinking. So it isn't your husband who's causing you to feel angry. It's your thought about your husband not taking out the trash that makes you feel angry. Another real win would be if you just had more awareness about your behavior, how you're showing up in your life, and then you got just really curious about it. And instead of thinking that this was something that always had to stay this way or that it was just who you were, now you know, no, the reason why you do anything is created and driven by a feeling that you have, that all of the actions or inactions that you take are directly related to feelings. And so in that case, if you find yourself not showing up in a way, then you get curious about what you were feeling, because that's why you acted the way you did. And then now you know you need all of those actions to create the results that you want. And that not taking action at all still will create a result for you. It's the actions and inactions that create your results. So knowing that, whatever you have created for yourself right now, you can go back and you can see it's because the actions that you took give you your current results. And if you want to create something different, we just need to figure out what the different actions are needed to create that result. Okay, my beautiful mamas, I thank you so much for sticking with me till the end. Or if you are a new listener, make sure you kind of go back to the last few exercises. They're all listed and started with the name The Model. And yeah, there's just so much more in depth to go through on each of these things that I can't give you when I try and keep my podcast to a short amount of time, easy, digestible. But I'm sure, I'm positive that you can take something from them and put it into practice and apply for your life. And if it's kind of put a little crack open in your brain to looking at the world a little bit different, a different shift or perspective, that will just bring me so much joy. And if any questions come up for you as you're trying to apply this to your life, no worries. Just email me and I'll be happy to give you some clarification, or just go ahead and sign up for the free call I offer. And this is where we get to dive deeper and be more specific on your life. And we take everything I teach on this podcast to a whole new level. My email and where to sign up for a call is always located in the show notes of the podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and I will talk to you again next week. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Are you ready to take everything I teach you here and put it to work for your own life? To really learn how to have peace of mind no matter what is happening around you? If so, I'd love to have you as a client. As your coach, this is where you'll get personal and focused time on your own mind using life coaching tools, concepts, and proven life-transforming wisdom, all through a faith-filled lens. To learn more about how we can work together, come on over to danielleteenel.com. There, you'll see how to sign up for a free coaching consult and learn how to get started. Until next time, peace be with you always.